Tonight, on Top 20 Funniest, we're counting down the unexpected turns in life. You won't believe what goes wrong when the camera's turned on.
Are you gonna take advantage of me?
Find out next on Top 20 Funniest Wrong Turns. Let's kick it off with number 20. There are many ways things can take a wrong turn on a skateboard.
In the gates! In the gates!
Like riding down a steep road.
In the gates! In the
And nearly hitting a car, like that one. Or worse, making an unplanned detour. If you thought that was a scream, check out this little cutie.
Hi! Today I am selling Girl Scout cookies. And so far, my grandma has donated this many.
Looks like new math.
And at her office, and sorry, I like this. I already sold 60 boxes.
Technically, your grandma sold them.
What?
And that victory dance is entirely unearned.
What? I usually sell like 10 boxes, but I sold 60. Ow!
Now that's something she did do herself.
What? I sold 60.
Get out your crystal balls. It's time to play. What happens next? We're in Copenhagen, and here's a boat with a capacity of 4 that's carrying 8. And not only is the boat tipsy, but so are the passengers. So we know there's going to be a wrong turn. Will A, the redhead fall in the water, B, the blonde fall in the water, or C, will the brunette be eaten by a Dutch river shark? Really? Okay, lock in your answers. Here we go. And... if you answered A or B, you are correct. Well, time to dry off. Or not. We'll see you next week on another episode of What Happens Next. You know your career is on the rise when you're picked to host a beauty pageant. Wait, where did he go? Well, when a show's budget is lower than its safety standards, things fall through the cracks. Things like him. Life can really take a wrong turn when you're checking items off the bucket list. Take this nun, who's always fancied motorcycles. See you later, sister. Someone's going to confession. But at least she crossed that off her list. Then there's Andre. He's celebrating his 50th birthday with a helmet and about 50 beers. He's always wanted to go wakeboarding. And technically, he still does. Quick change of plans. We're hitting the beach. And dropping in at number 17, it's Laverne's 80th birthday.
I'm Mike, I'll be doing the video. Are you excited to go skydiving?
I'm real excited.
To celebrate, she's going to jump out of a plane from 13,000 feet. It's all part of her unique philosophy.
YOLO, you only live once.
Laverne is getting the ride of her life. Uh-oh. Her harness is taking a wrong turn to the off position.
I was holding on for dear life, to save my life, you might say.
Laverne finally lands safely and decides it's better to ditch the bucket list so she's not kicking it. Welcome to St. Martin, where the beaches are just seconds from the airport. That kind of looks like fun. Or maybe not. Looks like some of the tourists are still on the fence about what to do. Ouch. A wrong turn on horseback can leave you more than saddle sore. And be careful making a wrong turn at the zoo, or you could end up in the splash zone.
Oh, gross.
Bobby knows his custom-fit t-shirt looks good. But sometimes you gotta know when to cut your losses. You don't get to be the best-dressed orangutan at the zoo by playing by the rules. We're pulling out all the stops for this week's Breaking Bad. John's about to unveil his latest trick to the world. Or at least, a few dudes near a freeway exit. And by trick, we mean just spinning around in circles. What's the big finish? Find out when we return. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, Michael Phelps wins another gold. Someone takes the blonde way home. And the Ice Capades unveil a new star. On Top 20 Funniest Wrong Turns. When we last saw John, he was about to unveil his latest trick. And by trick, we mean a wrong turn into a taco stand. And that's your weekly lesson on Breaking Bad. Next stop, the Hill Country, where Bobby's going for broke. But he makes one very wrong turn. And there goes all of Bobby's stuff. The crowd rushes in to make sure the truck is okay. Bobby's wife's not too happy about it. But some in the crowd certainly enjoyed the show. Roll over, Beethoven. Maria's been practicing for her big violin recital for weeks. And now all that hard work is finally paying off. It's like listening to an angel. Until... Maria's bow breaks, and she goes from Johann Strauss to yo, let's get out of here. It's time for this week's That's Gonna Leave a Mark. This is Kevin. He's got 3 bad habits: sugary sodas, smoking cigarettes, and making dumb bets that never turn out right. At least he can say, that did leave a mark. Look who's all in at number 13. It's a party in the woods, and Lana is the center of attention. With all this storytelling, Lana needs a break. Seems like her audience is too captivated to move a muscle. If you're not careful, working out can go wrong in a hurry. Take Jason.
Oh!
He won't settle for a simple pull-up. He has to add a twist.
Oh, dude!
It's not any easier at the gym.
Oh!
This guy doesn't believe in weights.
Oh, wow. What the
How gross is that?
Why do you have so much veins?
He prefers to flex.
Something wrong with him. What the? No, he's fine. What the?
Some folks try to squeeze in a workout at work, which sounds better than it looks. Wedding receptions are sure to take a wrong turn when you invite a guy like this. His moves are pretty slick. He calls that one the lawn dart. Wonder if he calls this one the cry for help. And here comes the, yeah, I planned that. Today's bikes can ride on any surface. Even your best friend. And it's always fun to create your own trails.
Whoa! Oh, that's gonna be bad.
Although sometimes even riding in a straight line can be a wrong turn.
Oh! You right, Sam?
Good thing this guy's always wanted a unicycle.
Holy. Is your face okay?
So I got Rufio because I was told that Rufio was a girl, and his name actually...
Cats and dogs aren't for everybody.
And one day I went into the reptile store and I'm like, why aren't they breeding? I'm doing everything you... Oh my gosh, he just...
Well, don't squeeze him.
He just... Oh my god, and he just got fed. This is the biggest ever. Oh my god, it stinks. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Ah, the power of prayer.
Oh my god. Oh my god, help me.
Hold a freshly fed lizard. Good chance you're gonna have a wrong turn of events.
Breeding. I'm doing everything you... It's like a dog poop on my lap. Oh my god, that's so much... Ew, 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 ew. Oh my god.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? I'm gonna try climbing. He's gonna.
Lots of wrong turns can happen on vacations. Just ask this tourist.
Are you okay?
Stacy pole dances to pay for college. Now that is using your head. Then there's this young lady.
Nice, lad.
She's the lead singer of a punk rock band, and she's got lots of fans.
Whoa!
This is why she does it. For the fans.
Whoa!
This community theater boasts an ensemble cast of local women. But one of them is seeking to outshine the rest. Unfortunately, that wasn't scripted. If you're tired of cheerleaders at halftime, there's always the Dunk Kings. These guys are pretty exciting. But when we come back, find out which Dunk King takes a wrong turn into the ER. Coming up, Renaissance Fair rejects. Sugar detox, is it worth it? And Peter Pan is back for one night only. On Top 20 Funniest Wrong Turns. When we last saw the Dunk Kings, they were about to take a wrong turn. The Dunk Kings may not break any records, but they sure know how to break everything else. Ever notice how family moments have a way of taking a weird turn? Sarah's like most teenagers. In a Tim Burton movie. Her parents are recording her recital routine. Better luck during the real thing, Sarah. A happy couple celebrates their wedding with family and friends. Wonder how their nephew Georgie feels about the marriage. Looks like rain on your wedding day really is bad luck. Family road trips are always fun.
Delia just had a nap. And we're all doing great.
Someone ate their bag of candy 5 minutes into the trip.
Hey, Delia, we don't have any more gummy bears. They are all gone.
So what happened to the other bag?
Hey, Danny. Do you have some gummy bears? Oh, a tower? He made a tower out of his gummy bears.
Maybe someone should learn to pace herself on the next trip.
Hey, Delia, look. What do you have to tell the camera?
Family vacation!
With 6 more hours to go to Grandma's house, Dad may want to consider a pit stop for more sugar. These soldiers are learning how to infiltrate a locked compound. But Corporal Plunk is having some difficulty. He needs some help. Thanks, Sarge. This construction crew goes through apprentices so fast. They have a new one arrive every hour. Okay, Red Shirt, you're up. But a real whopper steps in at number 10. A wedding photographer has to be coordinated. 3 things are essential: good balance, comfortable shoes, and waterproof cameras. Here's a guy who learns that drinking and bro games don't mix.
I do not repeat things for us.
It's really just got to from the part where I blacked out.
Ouch. Oh no. Oh God, Dusty, are you okay?
Good times. Top 20 Funniest now presents a public service. Avoid these apps.
Oh, look at that
The GPS in angry waves protects you from getting too close to big waves.
Oh my God!
But they're still working out some bugs. And Words with Animals is supposed to translate animal sounds into speech. Voice recognition needs some work. And then there's the new social networking app, Instagrown, which connects the clumsy with the klutzy. Very small fan base for this one. Now, finding your destination is even easier with the newest GPS app, Park and Fly. It parks your vehicle so you can fly. Consider yourselves downloaded. A purse snatcher stalks a shopping center for easy prey. And there he goes. Looks like he's gonna get away with it. Until he doesn't. Grandma got her purse back. And the misguided thief learned how quickly a life of crime can take a turn for the worse. You never know what you're going to see with community theater. This actor wanted to make his mark on the stage. They're still trying to clean it off. Everyone told Kyle to break a leg.
I'm taking you with me. You're coming to the palace.
Instead, he tries to break Karen's. They say a dance troupe is only as good as its weakest member. Randy is really good. And so is Petey. The problem is Edgar. Looks like there might be an opening in the old dance troupe. So support your local community theater today. Before the final curtain comes down for good.
Oh my God!
Everything's bigger in Texas.
I never dropped one before.
Carl here is trying to take down that old silo all by his lonesome.
I know a couple people who have.
Oh, I heard something.
Quick question, Carl. What happens if that silo does take a wrong turn? We'll find out when we come back. Coming up. Why do waitresses hate this man? Ghost Rider outtakes. And why is this footage banned in Canada? Find out on Top 20 Funniest Wrong Turns. When we last saw Carl, he was trying to knock down a silo. Let's see how that works out.
Oh, you all right?
Oh yeah!
Carl dodges a dirt nap by inches. But alas, his sledgehammer didn't make it.
A hammer.
Life can take a wrong turn with friends like these. Ice fishing, a sport that happens in the middle of nowhere. And when you gotta go, you better go somewhere else. Gary's friends know he sleeps in the buff. Isn't it nice to have friends? Time for workplace madness.
All right, on the cheek.
You gotta go first.
It's hard enough being a waitress, but then you have to deal with guys like this.
Give me a 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1.
He bets that if he can chug a beer in 2 seconds, they have to kiss him on the cheek.
It was gonna be slow.
Even worse, he's persistent.
Round 2. Round 2 seconds or less, I get a kiss on the cheek. 1, 2. Oh! You got later. Oh, come on. Put a video real quick. Again! 2 for 2. You ready? Yeah.
Just in case they start to catch on, he shows up in disguise.
3, 2, 1.
Oh no is right.
You gotta do it. Girls, I'm coming for you.
Bikers love to show off. And nobody shows off more than this guy. Everyone knows him as Crazy Audie. There's a back wheelie. And there's a delivery truck going into a ditch. Getting distracted is the last thing you want when it comes to motorcycles.
The sun does not have no prisoners.
See what Brown can do to you? This biker's trying to tame his hog for the camera.
Dasz radę, nie?
He lost. See how a local city council meeting took a wrong turn.
Well, the crops are growing very well. Growing food is so good for the people because it's free. All you have to do is pay the farmers and pay for the land.
Apparently, this woman has a lot on her mind.
We can be rich in cotton and mining metals and silkworms, and we can make things. We can make things, cars.
A car made out of silkworms?
The businesses downtown really need to lower their rent.
She's losing her audience.
They have fruit trees and vegetable trees. That's where fruit and vegetable comes from. You can
She's got a lot of ground to cover.
vegetable you want. On the East Coast, they have slaves, and they believe in slavery. On the West Coast, the new West Coast, we don't believe in that. We believe in the union, and that's what we are. People, we live in California. This is our home. This is where we live.
She's got our vote anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next speaker.
How can a team turn around its season? It might be with a boost from their cheerleaders. Specifically, the kind of spirit that only comes from a male cheerleader. If that can't turn your season around, what can? Every great athlete rises to new heights and tastes victory.
2, 1.
But what about all of us in the stands?
I'm falling over! I'm back down, you
In the nosebleed section?
Can I see you right?
The road to greatness is a painful one. Christian knows what we're talking about. He's got his eyes set on a medal. His feet, however, this guy's so close to greatness he can taste it. But will he? Find out when we return. Also coming up, what's on Grandpa's mind?
Just drop your dress a little bit.
What kind of man pays good money for this? And you won't believe what's hiding inside this box. On Top 20 Funniest Wrong Turns. We now return to the Common Man Olympics. And the winner coming in at number 6, this guy. No, you didn't. Meet Peter, a golf-loving guy with a problem. He just made a bet with his waitress, Lisa. If she can take off his hat without using her hands, she gets a big tip. But if she loses,
That would mean like the end of my job.
he gets a free meal.
This is where the ambulance comes. And don't move, Pete. Keep her steady.
Yeah, don't move.
Yeah, don't move.
I feel really uncomfortable.
The visor.
Do you get the feeling that this is about to take a really wrong turn?
The visor's gotta hit the ceiling.
Yeah, she lost. You won. Who needs Consumer Reports when you can have your very own top 20 product testers? Is this playhouse safe enough for your kids? Let's find out. Now you know. Do you really know how strong your blankets are?
Да, снимай его шприц. Оператор скажет тебе.
And everyone takes the safety of chairs for granted. This may look like a normal wedding guest, but he's a paid professional. Grandma and Grandpa are trying to have a web chat with the grandkids.
No, look at the monkey.
Did it capture? Why did it didn't say? I put it on capture.
That's a pretty good monkey.
Trouble is, they don't realize the webcam's already on.
Take a photo snapshot, okay.
This might take a while.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my baby. Hello, my god-dog. Oh, let her to get up. Let her to go say hi. But
why want to take a picture? Take photo.
Oh, no, dear. Pardon me.
Well, at least it's all clean fun.
See how pretty your hair is? Did you notice that?
No.
Just drop your dress a little bit. You see your boobs?
Stop.
Whew, that almost took a wrong turn.
Trying to close.
Time to say goodbye.
Gee.
Don't worry, they'll still be there next week.
I don't know what I'm recording. Shucks.
Hey. Ryan and Tiffany are celebrating their 3-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
And Ryan is bringing the romance.
Even for you. Don't open this yet. I've got to get your main present from the trunk, okay? Yeah. You have to wait until I get the other present.
But Ryan's not the terrific boyfriend he appears to be.
I'm sick to death of her constantly trying to find out what I got her as a gift. If she sees a bow on something, she'll actually go out and hunt like a little kid at Christmas time. And the surprise is dead, so I got her in a box of what looks like chocolates, but it's actually a box of hissing cockroaches.
How does Tiffany like her gift? Or the fact that her boyfriend locked the doors? So romantic.
Why'd you do that?
You ever going to open up a present like that again? Are you ever going to do that again?
It's our 3-year anniversary. Why did you get me that? God. I can't believe you did that.
There really is one on your back.
Get it off. Get it off. Get it off. Please get it off.
Natalie and all her friends are watching their favorite TV show, America Sings. And they're about to announce the winner. Uh-oh. Looks like they were rooting for the other David. It's okay, girls. Just watch something else on TV. Okay. How about the Animal Channel? How about an interview with the mayor?
It does take quite a long time to make change.
Didn't realize they were so political. Hey, you can always watch Top 20 Funniest. Dads mean well, but sometimes their parenting techniques have a way of taking a bad turn. This father is playing ball with his son. And playing to win.
Set, go!
Mom's trying to teach this little angel how to fall asleep on her own. But Dad has his own ideas. Hey, it worked! But how are you going to get out of there? Gonna be a long night. Sometimes a wrong turn can take you down the right road to romance. The driver and this woman met almost by accident. First, she offers him some of her lunch. Then he has an urge to get physical. But sometimes love connections just don't take. They say if you love something, set it free. If it doesn't come back, chase it.
Wait! Come back! Sorry! I didn't mean it!
Coming up, this guy picked a bad day for a romantic evening.
Really? Yeah.
Number 1 is next on Top 20 Funniest Wrong Turns. From thousands of bad choices, we've counted down the wildest and funniest wrong turns. Wait till you see what happens at number 1 in our top 20 countdown.
Hey, honey.
Yeah?
Wake up.
Everybody hates going to the dentist to get their wisdom teeth removed.
Dreamy.
But there is one upside. Anesthesia.
My lips feel like they're
What do you think they should give you for doing so good?
Skateboard.
Have I ever been that high before? No, I have not. Never.
Luckily, Nick's wife, Haley, is there to record every brilliant word.
His ginger belt is also on a farm.
You want a farm?
Thank you, cow.
I'm like crying right now.
Cows didn't like me. So they get the cereal what they wanted.
I don't remember what kind of cereal the cows wanted.
Nick, say you're gonna go sleep for 4 to 6 hours. I don't think we'll be going to a movie tonight, sweetie.
Are you gonna take advantage of me?
So, Haley, did you take advantage of him?
Oh yeah, I took advantage of him, but that's for a whole other video.
Okay, too much information.
You know you might take my clothes off.
You know what they said about activity and moving the first couple days? I don't think so.
I don't have to miss you. You know what? I'm on my way home.
Who knew going to the dentist could be so romantic?
I actually prefer Nick on anesthesia. He should be on it all the time. What?
Why? You need to watch right now.
Yeah, right now you have gauze in your mouth. You're not eating anything yet.
I like chocolate shakes.
You like chocolate shakes?
Why is it not playing basketball now?
I stand by everything I said in my video.
So do we, Nick.
Are you gonna take advantage of me?
When you take a wrong turn, don't get discouraged. Keep your chin up. When life closes one door, another one opens. And you could wind up number 1 on Top 20 Funniest.